Hello everyone, this is Chandra with C. Diane Designs, and I'm back this week to talk with you about wellness. And this week, today I wanted to talk to you about mental wellness, and in particular, loneliness. Now, this past year and a half or so have been really difficult, really hard on a lot of us, on many of us. But one of the most common complaints that I hear from family and friends is this feeling of loneliness, and that's fairly normal. We've been isolated, and our routines have changed. So that is probably a pretty natural um, consequence of all of this isolation is loneliness. Now, before we get started, I just want to state that I am not a mental health professional. I am offering my opinion, my insights, my experience to you in hopes that it can encourage you. If you have been experiencing chronic, debilitating type of loneliness, you may want to speak with your mental health care professional, as well as if you have been suffering from severe anxiety or depression, or if you've been having thoughts of suicide. Definitely speak to a professional. But right now, what I want to do today is just acknowledge the fact that loneliness has become a big problem for many people, especially in the past year and a half. So let's start out with a broad definition of loneliness. Now, Wikipedia says that loneliness is an unpleasant emotional experience to perceived isolation. Loneliness is also described as social pain, a psychological mechanism which motivates individuals to seek social connections. It is often associated with an unwanted lack of connection and intimacy. And I think even if you are surrounded by family and friends, you have a good work life, a decent social life, it's still easy to feel lonely from time to time. And I think of two different types of loneliness. There's chronic loneliness, and there's situational loneliness. Now, chronic loneliness is just a kind of a pervasive feeling that just never goes away. No matter where you are, what you're doing, that feeling of loneliness just stays with you all the time. And that is something that certainly you would want to address with a mental healthcare professional. Definitely don't wait, because it'll only get worse if you don't address it. Acknowledge it and address it. And then there's situational loneliness. You recently have lost someone due to death or separation, divorce. You've had to relocate and you're by yourself in a new state. And those are situations that, luckily with time and kindness to yourself, taking care of yourself, can and will pass. So what I wanted to do was just mention a few things, 5 things in particular that you can do to combat loneliness if, as I said, it's not debilitating, you haven't had severe anxiety or thoughts of suicide or depression. I'm only talking about really a loneliness that you can handle on your own. You can administer some self-care and begin to feel better. So there are 5 things you can do, 5 really basic, easy things you can do to begin to combat feelings of loneliness. And the first one is, it's kind of funny to me, stop spending all of your time on social media. One of the fastest ways to make yourself feel lonely and all alone is to get on Facebook and um, just scroll, just go all up and down your timeline and see the good times that everyone else is having. And what you have to realize is that those are just images. You don't know what happened before those pictures were taken or what will happen after those pictures are taken. People are going to always put their best foot forward, and that could be 2 seconds of time. What you see may not be their life all the time. So beware of scrolling and spending hours of your time on Facebook or Instagram and looking at your friends and family's photos that you're not involved in. You don't know what happened behind the scenes. And it's best not to speculate. And images are powerful. So the best thing to do is stay away as much as possible, at least until you're feeling better about your own situation. The second thing that I think is just probably the best thing to do is if you're alone a lot and you have a lot of time on your hands and nothing to do to fill that time up, develop a new skill. This is a great time to develop a new skill. You can, if you don't have a lot of money, you can read books, you can Google so many things, and YouTube has just a plethora of instructional and educational videos and things that can really, stimulate your own mind and take your mind off of your problems. And in the process, you can learn new skills and be ready for whatever comes after our current situation. The third thing to do is simply read a book. Um, Fiction is an excellent form of escapism. Um, you know, when I was younger, I used to read a lot, just when I was bored or just because I like to read, but it's an excellent way to escape temporarily your current surroundings and go off into another part of the world or to experience what life is like for another type of person. It's a great way to pass the time. And people today just have abandoned reading, and reading is so good for your brain. So think about that. When most people think of exercise, they think of, running a marathon or jogging, and all those things are great. Don't get me wrong. I think if you're in shape and those are things that motivate you, definitely do them. But you can start small. You don't have to prepare to run a marathon. You can get up and start your day with a good stretch, good 15-minute stretch. You'd be surprised at how good stretching is for your muscles. Or you can just take a walk. You can start with a walk around the block. Of course, practice your measures to stay safe, social distancing, masks, or whatever you do to stay safe. You can start with a block. You can start with a mile. You can, start with 3 miles, or you can challenge yourself to go farther and farther every day. It's wonderful for your mind. It's a means of self-care, which is really important and goes a long way toward mitigating those feelings of loneliness. Take care of your body. It's very important. And get rest along with that as well. And one of the last things I wanted to mention is volunteering. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to do a lot of hands-on volunteering right now because of the need to stay safe. However, there are still organizations out there that need help with volunteer activities that don't require you to be in close proximity with other people on a regular basis. So look into that. You can probably even volunteer on hotlines, phone hotlines, if you have qualifications or if they have a way to train you to help people over the phone. Volunteering, helping other people is a great way to get your mind off of your own problems. And I can't say enough that, if you really feel like you're suffering, you've been, even before for this past couple of years and all of the changes that have taken place, came up, if you suffered from loneliness and it's a feeling you can't shake, please talk to someone. Talk to your mental health care professional, or your pastor, your clergy, whoever you need to talk to start feeling better, because it's really important. Um, your life is worth living, and you should be able to live it well. And just remember that loneliness, typically, if you don't have any other mental health care issues, is a passing thing. It's temporary. Often you can feel it if you have been ill for a long period of time. In the aftermath, it's easy to feel lonely for a little while. And then also, if you've lost a loved one, or you've gone through a divorce or separation, those are things to consider. And those are things that you need to practice a great amount of self-care, and if need be, enlist other people to help you get back on the right track. So once again, this is Chandra with C. Diane Designs. Thank you for stopping by and listening, and take care.